Devontez Walker. Oh, yes. Here's a guy had a lot of hype coming into the Senior Bowl, and then all the hype kind of disappeared because of his performance at the Senior Bowl, guys. This is what I always say. In the end, when you're looking at a combine, a Senior Bowl, a Shrine Bowl, all these different things at that point, they should solidify what you think. You still have to go back to the tape itself. But then you get a guy like this who comes from a smaller school. We talked about it with Drake May and the fact that they played very small schools. They played one literally called the Camels. I'm sorry, I can't get past that still. We're going to bring it up every time I bring up North Carolina. The Tar Heels beat the Camels. I mean, that's just bad.
Talk about those camel toes.
The camel toes, what? So Devontez Walker played North Carolina last year, the prior 2 seasons there at Kent State. So never was really playing for one of the bigger schools that had a really tough schedule there. 6'2", 193 pounds, 22 years old. Last year, only played in 8 games, 41 receptions, 699 yards, 7 touchdowns, 3 rushes for 23 yards. Year prior, 12 games, 58 receptions, 921 yards, 11 touchdowns, 3 rushes, 29 yards, and a touchdown. Keep in mind, again, that was at Kent State, though. That wasn't in North Carolina. So there's a lot of this is like, and it's funny because it's almost crazy to see the fact that here's another guy from North Carolina, and it's like everything you could say about Drake May, I could say about this guy. Played at a small school, didn't really play real competition. He's got the prototype size. You see the potential there, but you don't see it on the field necessarily at times as well. All that stuff is there. Pro-wise, good body control, comes back to the ball well. High ceiling because, again, he's got the size, he's got the skills you see at that point there. Con-wise, though, again, didn't look good at the Senior Bowl, and low floor because this guy's just raw. And again, this guy didn't just look bad at the Senior Bowl, he looked bad. Like he went from an automatic 2nd round pick at worst, potentially sneaking into the end of the 1st even, to like this guy may drop down to the 3rd. That's how bad his Senior Bowl performance was there. So I think if you look at him and you go, okay, I like some of the stuff there, I like some of the skills, it's raw, I need some time to work with him. You got to understand, you're almost drafting him for 25. 24 is going to be basically a redshirt year for this guy to get this guy up to NFL skill level, and you better have one hell of a wide receiver coach to teach him at that point.
Yep.
If not an actual, a veteran guy at that point he can learn from as well would be great. That kind of situation. And he's got the tools. I can see this guy busting out in a year or 2 in the league at that point there. But I can also see him be out of the league in a year or 2. I can see either one of those scenarios.
It's funny you say that too, because this is the one wide receiver that everybody keeps talking about on the draft boards. Like, well, Drake made this, Drake made that. And I'm like, well, okay, if you're listening to the whispers that are coming out of the combine and out of the GM meetings and stuff, it's not as everybody is in love with Drake May as everybody thinks they are. And if not everybody is in love with Drake as much as they think they are, then Walker's not necessarily going to be on everybody's radar either. I personally think, and this could be a hot take, but I think he could go undrafted.
Wow.
Depending on the, not necessarily say the pro day, but, all it's going to take it for, 1, 2, 3 of these wide receivers behind him to start, being looked at by other teams towards the 4th, 5th, and 6th round. And he could fall that far. He could be like what the Bucs got last year with 2 of the guys. One was injury and one was just they didn't want to take the opportunity. And that was RJ Barrett, obviously. They didn't want to draft him because you can get him for the undrafted price. But he was a 4th rounder, respectively. And then JT Barrett is the same thing. There's a 3rd, 4th rounder, and it's just the injury plague and stuff like that. And I personally think he can go undrafted just because of how bad the pro day was and how good some of these other wide receivers did.
See, I feel like NFL GMs look at good talent like a horny dude looks at a hot girl with personality issues. Like they keep having the "I can fix her" mentality.
She's in love with me, bro.
Yeah.
I can fix this. I
don't
fix
care
this.
if she's a
work through
stripper.
it.
She loves
We'll work
you.
through
Yeah.
this.
She loves
And that's
me.
what I feel
Doesn't
like
matter if she
Devontez
regrets.
Walker. This is what he is. I feel like he's that guy that NFL GMs look at him, see the size, they see the
Also true.
the occasional play that he does everything perfect, and they go, "I can fix this. I can make this guy a star."
I
and
feel
that's
like
the only reason why I still think second and third round for him. I think
Also fair.
someone. I don't think. Don't get me wrong. There's some people that I think will. I think you're right. Some people are like, I don't want this guy. Like, I'm not taking this kind of risk unless he falls to the fourth or fifth. But I think someone's going to fall in love with that potential. And they're going to go.
I think so, and I think it's probably going to be the Commanders because I think this guy kind of plays into the scary Terry thing. Like he has a high ceiling, he has a low floor, but he has a ceiling. And if the Commanders take a shot on a gamble on something like this, and
Another Tar Heel,
it could just blow up in the face, which goes, yeah.
North Carolina players have
blows up in the face.
such a very good reputation for panning out in the NFL.
Yep, especially on the Commanders.
But a long time, the rest of their laurels on LT still. We had the goat. We had the goat. Makes up for it all.
Everything.
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.